Here we go. Steve T is proving us right. He says it's a Leeds love fest once again. He doesn't want to hear it. That's exactly what we're talking about, not getting the credit they deserve, Steve.
So they don't like us talking about one of the clubs that are mid-table in the Premier League. Yet tomorrow they'll criticise for not talking about one of the clubs that are mid-table in the Premier League. Oh, you're talking about Manchester United again, or Arsenal. Yeah, because they tend to be in the Europe competitions, Champions League, Europa League, and all that, and they tend to win stuff.
We're talking about them in the last hour.
Yeah.
This is Richie who says, you were calling for Bielsa to resign in January. He calls me a hypocrite. I wasn't. I was saying because they lost 3-0 at a League Two side in the FA Cup, I think he should do the decent thing and offer to resign. But I also said there's no way the board should accept it. A big difference. And Mark says, Liam Cooper is a Leeds fan, not a Hull fan. I can assure you in rugby league, he's a Hull FC fan. He's a big fan of the black and white gods. And this one here says, Bielsa doesn't get the credit he deserves because nobody is surprised. He's managing the mighty Leeds United, who never get treated or spoken of like a newly promoted side. We're too big. Now, that's the kind of arrogance that people do not like. That's
well,
why
you weren't
people
too
don't
big
like
to
Leeds.
go down a couple of divisions, so just hold your horses. It's the first time he's been in the Premier League. What is it, 16 years? 16 years?
Yep.
Yeah. So they're back in it now. They've got a top manager who's popular amongst other managers within the division, but probably by a lot of fans out there from other clubs, they still think he's rubbish.
Let's get into your calls. Ibrahim's a Leeds fan. What do you want to say? You're on talkSPORT.
Hi guys, you all right?
Yeah, very good.
We're good, mate.
So basically, I think Bielsa should get the credit that everyone's given him, purely because he took, and I still believe this, he took a mediocre championship team up as champions, right? Even as a Leeds fan, I used to say to people, if we don't get promoted, it's because that team is not good enough for the Premier League. And I can't believe what he's done with them. It's not just the team, the whole club, and how Radrizzani has put so much faith into it and just told him, like, you do what you want to do. And that's why I think Bielsa is such a great manager.
Well, he's also got the players to buy into it. And I remember saying a few weeks ago, I think it was on this show, that when he got there, he introduced triple sessions, training-wise, and
discipline. He brought in
the
discipline.
players didn't see their families for a month because he just wanted them to get immersed in what he wanted them to do. But they all bought into it. There was nobody who said, no, I'm not having any of that. There was no stomping around, no strops. And that's what he can do. And I understand what he's saying about it being, an average side. It's a little bit disrespectful.
Well, they weren't, because they're still one of the highest payers in the division, right? So they could attract players to Leeds United. It's still a big club, wasn't it? Even though they was in the Championship. But when it comes down to it, a manager like that comes in, it brings with it, even though you have got that language barrier, which is admitted, it has been a problem, and he apologises for it, doesn't he? Which is an amazing thing to do. But he brought with him immediately was respect he earned straight away. That month, where it could have gone either way, immediately got the respect of the players in that month, right? Brought in discipline, he brought in a hunger to get into the Premier League from all the players and the manager himself, a passion and work rate. Work rate is the biggest thing here. The work rate of that team and the manager himself. You look at him after the game on the touchline, whether they win, lose or draw, he looks exhausted. He looks disappointed, but they ain't got a win. He looks so disappointed.
He was gutted against United, wasn't he? Oh,
unbelievable. After it. And against, was it Liverpool? He was absolutely gutted when he comes off. He was gutted.
He's had good results against them for a newly promoted side.
Yeah, but he wants to win. He doesn't want to draw. He wants to win.
Tony's a Leeds fan. Hiya, Tony.
Hi, lads. How are we doing?
Very good, thank you.
There's a few bitter people out there who don't like you talking about Leeds, isn't there?
Seems so, yeah. Strange, isn't it?
It's all right. We'll talk about Man United and Arsenal last hour, mate. We'll cheer them all up.
Behave yourself, Goffey. Listen, there's a couple of stats I want to give you, around this burnout. So, in terms of how many goals we've conceded this season, we've conceded a lot. However, since 2021, we are the team in the Premier League that's conceded the fewest goals at home out of the entire Premier League. So, in terms of the burnout, and obviously in terms of concentration, there's absolutely no burnout whatsoever. Also, on the first championship season when he took over, I think the playoff game, Derby away, the first leg, when we looked at the stats after that game, that was the most we'd run in an entire game throughout the entire season. So the sort of Karen Kearney thing that COVID got us promoted, we've won 5 months in and we've not conceded a goal. It's absolute garbage. I think we are the fittest team, not in that league. I think we're the fittest team in world football.
That's quite a claim. I mean, it's
They are fit.
I know where you're coming from. The last 6 games, 3 draws, 3 wins. And it's not like they've played nobody. The last 3 games have been Man United, Liverpool and Man City. They've won 1 and drawn 2.
Solskjaer, I think, come out and said they were the fittest team in the Premier League. He didn't say in the world. He said the fittest team in the Premier League, Leeds United.
Remarkable. Ben's a Leeds fan. Hiya, Ben, you're on talkSPORT.
Now then, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
I think we do get the credit we deserve. I think we get a lot of credit whenever Leeds are playing on telly. They're always talking about how exciting we are to watch and what a shift we put in. I mean, I don't think there's many cities in country bigger than Leeds. We've only one football team. So the passion that people from Leeds have got for the club, all we ask for is that the players give absolutely everything for the shirts, and the amount of running that we do, I think is brilliant to watch.
I mate, you're right. I remember I watched Leeds when Heckingbottom was in charge. This is 2018, and they went to Fulham, and I was at the game. I was in the away end, I was in the Leeds end. And they lost 2-0, and it was a pretty wishy-washy performance. A couple of the players, Alioski, Hernandez, still there. Calvin Phillips was on the bench. And I point to him and I say that there's an example of somebody who I don't think many Leeds fans thought he had the ability that they're now seeing. They've been seeing for the last 2 or 3 years under Bielsa. Is transformed an individual, Calvin Phillips, like an also-ran, a sub, into an England international. That's under Bielsa. That's on his watch.
Heckingbottom, to be fair to him, actually did say he's done an amazing job at Leeds, and he did mention but if he could like to follow one model, it would be his model that he brought to Leeds. But he were talking about him before he come to Leeds when he was the manager. Heckingbottom was the manager of Leeds,
okay.
So he mentioned it to the owner. And he said we should go get him. And he does this. He talks about it. He said, and guess what? They did.
It's all down to Paul Heckingbottom.
He just says he's got to admire the way he sets them up. Atletico Bilbao, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he talked about the way they play and the way they set up. And he said we should go get him. And they did instead of Heckingbottom.
A lot of mutual love between the two when Sheffield United played Leeds recently, wasn't there? So that's probably where that all stems from.
Yeah.
It is Drive on talkSPORT.